they have these meetings that they have in the NFL, and they're having one right now, as a matter of fact. And one of the discussions is the tush push, and they're going to vote on this. Now, everybody, we have fun with that whole thing, but the rest of the NFL doesn't find it all that funny that Philadelphia, and by the way, it's not just Philadelphia, it's Buffalo. Matter of fact, John, if you combine both Philadelphia and Buffalo combined, 163 different pushes in 3 years with the tush push as what they're doing. And some of the arguments, I think, are somewhat reasonable. If you're talking about the health of players, I think you have to respect that and decide, is this something that is something that could get people hurt in a big way, maybe more often than not. I don't think we're seeing that, though, right? I mean, I don't recall seeing any of that, John. So I think overall, it seems like it's been something that everybody says, well, they're going to get hurt. Well, so far, so good. It hasn't really happened just yet. But I like what they're doing. They're giving it to the crowd. The Packers are the folks that actually really made the biggest fuss over it, John. They're the ones that went in for the proposal to say, hey, look, let's cut this whole thing. This is ridiculous. What do you think about this whole thing? I know one thing, and then I'll let you answer that, John. There was always a rule when you played, there was a rule that you cannot advance players. They're kind of advancing a player, aren't they?
Yep.
So I just wonder, I see both sides of this one. I don't know where they're going to land. I don't even really care that much, but it is some good fodder because everybody wants to talk about the tush push.
Well, and the predictive markets are still saying they will not ban the tush push, Pete.
Right.
Will not. And I think to Pete's point, they should easily give it another year before they make that decision. And here's one of the big reasons why, Pete. There's a kid named Watson playing at, I think, Desmond Watson. He's playing at your old creamsicle place, Pete, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Bucks.
Pete's got some creamsicle jerseys on the wall behind him, folks. Those old Tampa Bay dreamsicle, creamsicle, whatever it was. But this kid is 6'6", 464 pounds.
The draft pick out of Florida or whatever, free agent, maybe, whatever he was.
Biggest NFL player ever. And he's a defensive lineman. And you know what they're going to do, Pete? They're going to put him head up on the center for the tush push. Not to have him do the push, but to have him repel the push. Because if you can move a 464-pound man mountain like Desmond Watson, that's going to be a pretty tall order for anybody. And he's been practicing with Tampa Bay, Pete. I'm very interested to see if anybody can do the tush push if that kid's on the field.
John, ironically, he's actually carried the ball on the offensive side as well at Florida. Yep.
Yes, he has.
So he's kind of both sides of this whole thing. So it really could play in. By the way, the tackle next to him, the other defensive tackle that's next to him is about 365. So I think they've got plenty of weight sitting there on the Tampa side, going to be able to stuff up that middle, I think, in a big way. Next up, John, I wanted to go to college football, and here's where, real quick, and this is right up your alley. Deion Sanders, Colorado. Their record is 13-12 for the 2 seasons he's been there. So a little over 500. They'll take that, I guess. Last year was much better. They had some huge improvements. They aren't going to have Travis Hunter. They're not going to have Shedeur and whoever else might have either been a free agent or a draft pick out of Colorado last year, this past year. But I'll tell you what, John, they have gone to the portal, and your guy Deion has absolutely crushed it in the portal. He's number 19 out of all the schools that are out there in the portal. He's number 19. He's got 28 commits, four 4-star guys. He's also got 23 3-star guys. And 7 transfers on the offensive side are already slotted to be starters for Colorado this coming fall.
Wow.
So interesting to see what they did, one of them being the quarterback, obviously. You got to replace the quarterback, but it's going to be pretty interesting. What do you think? It's really, really early. We haven't seen a daggone thing. We don't know. But what do you think? Is Deion a really good coach, or did he have really good players? Because those players might not be as good as what they had, especially those 2 that we highlight.
Yeah, I would say that Deion is a good coach. a great recruiter, and just a good coach. And, you know, if somebody wants to call me a hater for saying that, go ahead. But I've seen a lot of mistakes made on the field that I couldn't justify. And I don't think most other D1 schools could justify them. They, quite frankly, looked a little amateurish. But he is a hell of a recruiter.
Yep.
He has sold out that stadium. And I think we talked about it just a couple months ago, Pete. His new contract rivals any coach anywhere's contract. So what he does for the city of Boulder, with all the tourism that comes in for that school, with all of the applications that come in and so forth, it's measurable, but it's almost immeasurable because he does such a great job just by being Dion. But by being Dion, does that make him a great coach? No. And to your point, Travis Hunter made him a great coach. Shadur and Shiloh made him a great coach. We'll see. These guys that come in and start, do they have enough to be able to compete at that level again, as difficult as it was last year? I mean, keep in mind that his son, Pete, threw whatever, 70% completions or whatever the heck it was.
Not too bad.
3,900 yards or whatever, 36 touchdowns. I mean, you know, it was a heck of a year for the Buffalo. I don't know if they're going to repeat that this year, but I think we'll get a better look at what kind of coach he is, not just what kind of father he was to a couple of the best to play in a long time, along with their friend Travis Hunter.
They lost some talent. They brought in some talent. We'll see how it all goes, and then we'll see a lot more about what his coaching skills really look like, because how many guys in the NFL this past year were telling us, John, hey, looks like we might be seeing Dion go to the Cowboys, or we might see Dion. I'm not sure that actually really was ever on the table. It was probably fun to talk about, but I'm not sure that was truly on the table. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a lot of fun to see how he does this year as a coach. The Big 12 is a great conference, and they get better and better every year.